Episode 100.
The 100th episode was a huge milestone for us.
The writing is great, the acting is great, the editing is great, the music is great.
You can't have a 100th episode without a huge fan base.
Without the fans, we wouldn't be here, so I give 100% credit to them.
It's been quite a ride.
And it still feels fresh and it still feels exciting, so hopefully we'll continue for another 100.
The 100th celebration was great to have. Obviously, we wanted to celebrate the fact that we've made it.
I was surprised it got on the air, and now that we're here at 100, it's phenomenal. It's great, it really is.
We're extremely excited. It's very funny, we got a memo and it said, we've done 6,000 episodes. No, it's really 100, but it feels like 6,000. And I think it's a bit of both. It feels like it's gone by really, really quickly, and also we're very tired.
It's hard to even sort of internalize. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. It doesn't, every time I try to remind myself that we're 5 years in, it doesn't quite compute. It doesn't, I don't know, it just feels surreal.
To be part of TV history, I've kind of experienced a little bit before, but not to be in it from the genesis to now. And it's been a blast.
Shonda and Betsy and the writers have just created incredible characters, and the characters are really what drives the show.
You're fantastic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's my #1 fan.
I'm really excited to be part of it, you know. It's like, I mean, it's hard to be in this business. It's a tough business sometimes, but this place feels like a family.
And here we are, 100 episodes later, and we're all together, we're all doing the same thing, and that is, to me, a huge accomplishment.
Big day!
Biggest day of your life?
Don't do that.
The 100th episode is a tribute to everybody, and we wanted to make it special. As the director of the episode,
Action!
we have a system set up at Grey's that starts with obviously getting the script. Shonda wrote the script.
I put a huge amount of pressure on myself to sort of write an episode that felt worthy of being the 100th episode.
It's not the biggest day of my life, it's the biggest day of Izzy's life. I'm excited about the marriage, not some wedding. Anyway, she's the one who's gone all bridezilla.
Bridezilla. But I thought, like, what do the fans want to see? Like, what would be great for them? Like, what would be kind of a gift for them for having watched all this time?
It's a really powerful episode for the 100th episode, and it's about beginnings and endings, you know, as I think this show does well all the time.
Okay, charge to 200.
Becca, what's going on? This is the biggest day of my life. Where in the hell is Hunt?
It's emotionally what Shonda does best, which is the mixture of incredible sadness and pain.
I think she's really gonna die.
And the incredible joy and relief.
She's right. The dress isn't for Meredith.
Shonda did an amazing job writing that episode. I mean, it's quintessentially Shonda in so many ways, because I think, first of all, the case is so dramatically terrifying, and the whole concept of this valedictorian having to give her speech and how it's the first day of the rest of her life.
Becca, just give me your speech. You worked hard on it, so you should do it right now. Come on.
Today's the day my life begins.
That's the thing that somehow or another Shonda always gets to the core of, which is, in the most extreme situations, how will you behave? How will you perform? How will you actually hold yourself? I think it's an amazingly dignified episode of television.
Time of death, 10:45.
He's Cody. Get a crash cart.
Our show has table reads, usually at least 3 days before we start shooting.
The important part of it for me is we finally get to hear the words sort of aloud.
You slept here?
I'm like, going, what?
You slept here? I slept here. I always like being at the table reads because it just gives you a chance to hear what you're going to do, and then if you have any issues with it, the writer is right there, and you could get to hear what it is in your storyline context with everyone else.
I do the actual screen direction reading at the table read.
He replaces the syringe, more and more blood, some going into the syringe, some flowing out of the wound.
My focus really isn't on performance of the actors, and some of them try to give a performance, others just are reading it just to hear it for the first time also. So for me, I'm listening to reactions.
I depend on the table reads a lot just to give voice to that episode and to see what the arc of the episode is, sort of the way the writers do. Once they finish it and they've set all the characters in their head, now they need to hear it
Then why is Denny here?
I think it's fun to play with each other as actors sitting around a table. There's a lot of potential there, and you feel it and you see it, and, you know, hopefully it works.
Hallucinations are neurons firing in the brain.
Is Denny here now?
No.
Can you summon him in
It's always a surprise from script to script where our characters are going. So it's always kind of nice to know that, what's up.
The writers want to hear what the words sound like, and contingent upon how well they work or don't work at the table read sort of determines whether or not they're going to change things.
He got you a solo surgeon. Happy wedding day, man.
For me, it's a chance to hear things, hear what doesn't feel right, make changes, make cuts, discover something's funny that you didn't know was funny and sort of play to it.
But it doesn't work like that. He comes and he goes, why?
Yeah, why, Shepard?
Derek Shepard. That's good.
Post the table read, I will do a walkthrough of the surgical scenes and the ER scenes with our medical technical advisor, Linda Klein.
I come from the medical field. I've worked in surgery for over 30 years. They hired me to pretty much portray medicine the best way I can.
Me not being a medical person, you know, I need direction. She will say the person should be on the right side of the operating room table as opposed to the left side.
When George says sinus tack, he's taking that off the monitor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's over there.
That's for this guy's here.
Yeah.
She's got to bring the reality to a scene, you know, because she does work in medicine, and sometimes she's like, there's no way that this is going to happen. You have to do it this way.
She's going to hand them to him. He takes them, and then he goes. Yeah.
She's always paying attention to the medical and the accuracy and keeping everything right. And Rob's job is to pay attention to the visual.
Rob sets the shot up, and then Linda tells him it's wrong.
So Linda.
Where are you picking this up?
Bang, doors.
22 is in the driver's seat. His car got crushed by a semi.
David Simmons, 22-year-old in his driver's seat who sustained chest contusions. A couple of they'll do it much better than me. Alex.
What are the injuries?
He got crushed by a semi.
No, you can't go in yet.
Why not?
Because you have to wait for them to say, take him to Bay 1 until we get trauma room.
In the 100th episode, when all the students from the bus crash came in, that was difficult because they were all flat on their backs with their heads connected to a board that they were laying on the gurney. And yet they were all communicating with each other and they couldn't see each other. So I had to sort of come up with a plan of how they each knew the other person was there. And it all came with the timing of who said what when. When the first young man came in, it wasn't so important for where he was, other than to have him close to where the second person was coming in, and she could hear what he was saying. So I positioned them next to each other. Then the third person came in, he overheard the young girl speaking as he was being wheeled in.
Jordan!
Becca, have you seen Dana? You were sitting next to her.
In order to accomplish all of that, Linda and I, when we walked it, came up with ideas of how to change the dialogue so we would be able to have each character hear the other person in the appropriate place. The paramedic who was there with us, we have actual paramedics, he said, well, we can spin his gurney right as he comes in. So he came in one direction, they spun him around 180 degrees, and he went the rest of the way head first. That just added to the energy and the excitement of the scene to see this character just get like flipped all around, and it gave a sort of a dizzy feeling to the audience.